Well, the retail crime crisis we've been documenting here on Fox News at Night has led to a brand new shopping experience for customers at a Chicago Walgreens featuring considerable anti-theft measures. Let's bring in criminal defense attorney and federal litigator Vikas Bajaj. I mean, Chicago Walgreens store, they have two aisles, right? So you have two aisles of stuff and everything else, Vic, you've got to go to the counter and get that stuff. And I was interested because the NYPD's chief of crime control strategy said the following, quoting here, 250 people in 2023 have been arrested almost 2,500 times. Let's put this on the screen. Again, that's 30%. Who are these people? 52% are convicted felons, so they're getting arrested over and over again. And it's notable because most people who shoplift are never arrested. There must be a remedy for this in some capacity.
Well, here's the remedy. Go back in time. You know, before we had things like Proposition 47 and 57 here in California and places like New York decriminalizing petty theft under $1,000, when that change happened, the ripple effect was very clear. You are going to have thefts because everyone within the criminal world, whether they're forced into it or voluntarily find themselves directed towards it, they know the penalties before they get involved. So if you decriminalize theft, well, what's going to happen? You have to lock everything up. There's no surprise here. Hopefully the pendulum has gone so far that the retail companies with their big pocketbooks are going to say, hey, legislators, let's change the law back to the way it was.
But the California legislature, Vic, is so far to the left. Do you see a chance where they review this law that says anything under or less than $950 is no longer a felony, and then it's just not prosecutable at all? Does that change, or are we just too far left to make that happen?
The reason why your question is so fantastic and on point is because that's exactly what the legislature has done. Our governor here in California has said we're not going to punish the individual petty thieves. However, we're going to conduct extensive investigation on every petty theft. And what we're going to do now is say, hey, is this part of an organization? So now we're going to prosecute organized retail crime, both on the state and, unfortunately, on the federal side. So what it's really done, in an ironic turn of events, is increased the criminal exposure for petty thieves, whereas before that wasn't there. It's calling a problem a different thing without identifying the problem.
Now I want to find out if parents have any kind of recourse, any legal remedies to this, because as Jonathan was saying, North Hollywood Elementary School holding a pride event led a protest for and against, both people on both sides. Here's one of the parents who is against the pride thing for kindergartners.
Nobody has an answer to that. Nobody can answer why they're doing this at an elementary school and not at the high schools or the middle schools, where, you know, this is probably a little more appropriate.
Is this one of those things, Vic, where they only have recourse at the ballot box, or is there something that parents can do together to maybe stop schools from doing some of these types of things?
I'll give you two answers. In the present day, the only remedy is the ballot box, and the only remedy is to be as loud as you possibly can, because we can see through different examples that the companies, counties, entities, they respond to the loudest voice. And so that's where we are now. Where we'll be in the future? Well, we've already had issues with the Board of Education and the state legislature saying we're not going to allow local school boards to tell the children what to do. We're going to make it law. So even though you're supposed to be elected, you're elected. Thanks for showing up. Now do what we say.
Yeah, I'll call you. Lastly, Charlie Gasparino of Fox wrote about this, talking about the Dodgers. He says, Dodgers inviting Catholic offending trans queer group to Pride Day's latest MLB air going on. For most people, there's nothing normal about you and your team's management coddling a group of trans nuns so they can belittle the Catholic Church at a baseball game. It's also got to be bad for business. I mean, does the Catholic Church, does any of these people, I mean, you talk about legal rights going forward. Do they have any recourse at all? It happened, the same thing happened 30 years ago in San Francisco.
You don't have a legal recourse. The issue is, how do you get the companies, the entities, the Budweisers, for instance, to say, hey, this is not a boat that we're going to jump on. And again, it's whoever has the loudest voice. Now, we can see that the Dodgers are not serious about it. If they were serious about it, they wouldn't have he and hawed about it, and they would have just stuck to their policy. As the voices get louder, the opposition is greater, and the pocketbooks respond to that. So that's how you get to the companies and the Dodgers and entities to make that change.
Vikas Bajaj, great to have you on. Thank you.
Thank you so much.